everybody, it's Melanie from Mel's Inky Fingers, and thank you for joining me. I am sharing this really cute fun fold card made with the Hobby Haven Designer Series paper pack and the Banner Sayings bundle. So if you are a Creatively Inked subscriber, this is the card that you will be receiving as a completed project in your December 2025 Creatively Inked kit. This is wrapping up the 2025 year, and it is just so cute with a hobby theme throughout this paper pack for all kinds of really cute hobbies. So this particular card, the cards that are included in the Creatively Inked kits, are in all different patterns and colors. I am going to show you how to create this project, and then I'm going to show you some of the color combos that I put together using the different Designer Series papers in the collection. So to create this project, you will want your Banner Sayings stamp set and punch, as well as the Creative Haven bundle. So I used the die for a tag and this stamp set for the front sentiment. The Banner Sayings, I pulled the Thanks a Million stamp for the inside. And then of course I used this little punch to create a little tail on the sentiment piece. So if you are a Creatively Inked subscriber, you have the measurements for this card as well as a video tutorial included in your PDF tutorial. So let's talk about the supplies you need. So your card base is going to be created with a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. You are then going to cut 2.5 inches off the end and save this for your front piece. And then you are going to score it at 1.5 inches in on each end. You will then fold these and burnish them with a bone folder. And this is going to create your card base. We will be adding this to the front of it, anchored to the top, and that's going to create our fun fold. Then you are going to want some coordinating cardstock pieces, and this color, as well as your card base, can be chosen based on the colors in your Designer Series paper. I chose to pull out this Secret Sea, and then my accent color is going to be the petal pink. So you are going to want one piece that's 2 1/8 by 3 7/8, and then two pieces that are 1 1/4 by 4 inches. Then you're going to want 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. And although I cut mine to be the same, you can mix and match. You might like the back pieces on some better, but you can mix and match your pieces if you choose. This piece is 2 by 3 3/4. This piece is going to be 3 7/8 by 1 1/8, and you're going to want 2 of those. Then for the inside, you'll cut a 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer. That'll be your inside. And then you'll want a piece of basic white that's big enough to cut a label. And this is where I pulled in the Creative Haven dies, and I used the smaller rectangular tag to die cut my shape. And then here is the punch. You will want one of the punches that has the double banner side, or you could punch 2 of the tail side, the single tail side piece, depending on what you prefer. You could even do 2 of those if you wanted. And those are all of our pieces. So let's start by adhering some of the pieces together and just do a little bit of quantity control here with what we have. So let's take our Designer Series paper pieces and the coordinating cardstock pieces, and let's adhere some of these together. You can choose to use Stamp and Seal or a little bit of liquid glue on these if you prefer. When I'm adhering a lot of pieces onto mats that have kind of a narrow border, I like to use the liquid glue because it gives me just a minute to shift and get everything positioned really nicely to make sure it's centered. So there's that piece. Then we're going to do the same for these 2 pieces here. These are both going to be the same. They're the same size. So we'll adhere those in place. And you don't need much liquid glue. The liquid glue it has a really strong hold, and paper is very lightweight, so you don't need a lot of it to hold it in place. Plus, you don't want to get your paper soggy if you put too much, and then it oozes out the side, and then you have sticky bits on your paper and sticky fingers, and it just kind of creates a mess. So less is more, and then keep it in a bit from your edge so that as you shift your paper around, it doesn't ooze out the edges. So there are the 3 layered pieces that will go on the front. So now I'm going to take this 2.5 by 4.25 inch piece that I initially cut off my card base, and I'm going to layer this on the front. So I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue to the back of this, and see how I'm keeping it in from the edge a little bit? That is going to allow me to shift this piece around without having that glue ooze out from the edges of the paper. And then here it was just a little off center, so it allows me to center that. So now we have some quantity control of our pieces here. So we're going to set these aside and do a little bit of stamping. So let's pull out our white tag that's been die cut from our Creative Haven die set. All right, so the Creative Haven die set is the bundle that's in the suite with the Hobby Haven Designer Series paper, which is what was used. So I have chosen to keep my ink color the same as my card base, but you could mix this up and really do anything that you would like. And then I have this stamp here. It's called the Creative Haven stamp set. This says "You're the best," but you have shaped stamps here that are really quite amazing, and they have coordinating dies. So if you would like a little bigger sentiment, you could choose this with the coordinating die. You could choose the deep breath and choose, this one is actually an oval, not square. This image is wrong. Or you could choose the banner piece and put the "Friends Like You Are Golden" on this and die cut that. I chose the smaller tag, and I chose to go with the "You're the Best" stamp so that I can make myself a little, I need to add some more ink to my Secret Sea ink pad. I use it so much. So I'm just going to stamp this. Look how cool that is. And then I am going to take a coordinating saying, so "You're the best," I'm thinking thank you. So I'm going to take this "Thanks a Million" from the Banner Saying stamp set. And this was the feature for the Creatively Inked December kit. So if you are a subscriber, you had the opportunity to add the Banner Saying stamp set onto your kit at a discounted price. Now the punch has been on back order since about a week after it came out. So that was not able to be added on, but once it comes back in stock, I'll give you the opportunity to add it since it gives you that cost savings. All right, so now I'm going to take my punched banner from my Banner Sayings punch, and I'm going to cut this in half. Now, if you chose to go with one of the other punches that had the straight line, you'll want 2, and you can trim them if you need to. I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal on the back, and then I'm going to adhere these in place. So I'm just going to kind of line them up how I like them, and then just tuck them before I push them down in place. I'll just make sure they're centered in how I want them, and then give that a good squeeze. Very easy. Now we've created this really cute little focal point for our card front. So now let's bring the rest of our pieces back in. First things first, I always like to get my middle piece inside so that I don't do something like spill glue on it or accidentally get ink on it. So I'm going to center this. And again, this is a 4 and 5.25 inch piece. That's just a standard inside layer for an A2 card. All right, so now we're going to take these 2 smaller pieces and we are going to adhere them to the top and bottom of our, and you can look at your pieces and decide if the pattern looks better at the top versus the bottom. And here's the second piece. So I'm just centering these down here. Pushing those in place. So there's our card front. This is what it looks like. So now I'm going to take this. This is our focal piece that was created by trimming the bottom off our card base before we scored it. So it's going to go like this. So I'm going to put adhesive in just this top section here so that my card can open like this. You do not want to hear it at the top and the bottom or you won't be able to get your card open. So I am going to put 2 rows of Stampin' Seal on here. And then I'm just going to center this. And give that a good push. And now you can see I don't have any adhesive there. And so that allows me to open and close my card easily, like that. All right, okay. So now let's take this cute little sentiment, and that's going to go kind of offset here. You can decide if you want it down like this, if you want it up towards the top. That's actually pretty cute like that. Or you can choose to center it. And if you choose to center it, you can have it, you know, right in the middle if you want, or you can choose to have it offset just a little or offset all the way to the edge. It's completely up to you how you would like your piece to be applied. So I'm just going to take some dimensionals and I'm just going to tack that down and just make sure those don't come loose. And I'll put a second, maybe a third one on there, make sure it holds well. And then I'm going to put mine offset pretty close to lining up the white edge layer inside with the white edge of my label. And then I'm going to put this kind of centered in this space here. There's no right or wrong. Like I said, you can choose to put this on however you would like. All right, this is what this looks like. So now I'm going to bring in some ribbon. And I am using this really cute garden green and white chevron ribbon. It's a 1/8 inch ribbon, which is always really nice for tying bows. And this can be found only in my online store. This is not in a catalog, nor is the Hobby Haven Designer Series paper or the matching bundles. So this card is pretty much made with products from our online exclusives. So I'm just going to trim this. And then I'm going to take my glue dots here, as well as my Take Your Pick tool. My Take Your Pick tool works overtime for me, that is for sure. So I'm going to take a glue dot. Looks like I got some little paper biddies on this from my live earlier today. I'm going to kind of roll it up and put it right here in that hole. All right, and then I'm going to take the knot of my ribbon and push it right down on there so it covers up the hole that's on that little tag. And look how cute that is. Isn't that cute? It's a really cute project. And there is our project. Now, if you would like, you can take some gems and add some gems to this. I think there's enough going on. It's just really cute without it. And the other thing you could do on the inside is if you had any other scraps of Designer Series paper, you could always bring those strips in. That always dresses up the inside really nicely, but this gives you plenty of space to write. You'll want to keep your writing kind of tucked behind this if you don't want to see it when the card is closed. But there's your project. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this. Now let's take a look at some of the other combinations. So this particular project used the really cute cooking theme paper. Now here is that same cooking themed paper, but I changed up the colors and you can see it really becomes kind of light and soft. It has a petal pink card base and a Coastal Cabana layer behind the Designer Series paper, and I matched that layer piece down here. Then there is this cute spa theme, and I used basic beige with early espresso. There is this really cute sewing and needlework theme paper, and I used Pool Party with Coastal Cabana. And on this particular project, I flipped the paper to the back side so that you had this kind of dotty look. So it's the same project, but with the paper flipped, it gives you a little different look. And then this one is so cute. This is a book themed paper, and I used a basic beige card base with Lost Lagoon layers and the Lost Lagoon tabs. And here's that same paper in an early espresso card base and a petal pink layer. So you can see, no matter what colors you bring in, this project is just adorable. I hope you enjoyed seeing this made, and I hope you give it a try. Thanks for watching.